All right, now I get to do one of my favorite things, which is recommend a book to you guys. I want to talk about the concept of the one thing. Now, there's a book by a gentleman named Gary Keller who started Keller Williams Real Estate. And it's a book called The One Thing. This is a book that I read once a year, and it's wonderful every time I read it. But I'm going to teach it to you in a very short segment here. And it is something that will pay dividends not only in this health and fitness journey, but it will pay dividends in every single area of your life. Because as humans, we like to complicate things. We like to make things way more complex. And when you look online and you look at fitness influencers and trainers and things like that, what a lot of trainers like to do is they like to make things complex because it makes them seem smart. And they know that people don't think simple works. They're like, that's way too simple. That can't work. Where's the fancy stuff, right? Like, where's the secret cool hacks and tricks that I need to know about, right? So, what the one thing the book is it boils down to this. In any area of your life, you ask yourself, what is the one thing that I could do that by doing that one thing would make everything else easier or unnecessary? Again, what's the one thing that I can do in any area of my life? Take any area of your life. What's the one thing you could do that by doing that one thing would make everything else easier or unnecessary? Now, first thing I'm going to tell you is it doesn't mean you only do that one thing. It's one of the big misunderstandings about, I can always tell when people haven't actually read the book, they just read the title. So like, you can't just do one thing. That's ridiculous. It's not saying to just do one thing, but it's saying to prioritize the one thing that you could do. So let me give you an example when it comes to health and fitness. When I talk to people and I talk to clients and I talk to people who are trying to lose weight or get stronger, the answer to that question is the same for everybody. What's the one thing that you could do that by doing it would make everything else either easier or unnecessary? And that thing is get enough sleep. Period. End of story. If you can just get enough sleep, it makes every single other thing in your fitness journey either easier or unnecessary. That is one of the biggest linchpins in your journey, is getting yourself to get enough. Now, is that a super secret hack? Is that complex? No, it's something that you guys already know this. You already know that sleep's important, but for some reason, none of us do it, myself included. I'll sit in bed and scroll through YouTube shorts for 3 hours before I realize that I'm an idiot. It's 1 o'clock in the morning and I just ruined my night's sleep, right? Like we all do that. Some of us don't have a choice. Some of us are new parents, right? Some of you guys out there have new kids and sleep's not an option. But you new parents can also attest to the fact that that lack of sleep has made everything else in your life more complicated and harder to do because you lack sleep. You've got to do things more than once because you screwed it up because you lack sleep. Things that you have to do are harder because you lack sleep. So that's a good example. And you can apply this really anywhere in your life. Look at anything that you're trying to do. You know, I take golf lessons right now. So one of the things that I talk about with my coach is, what's the one thing that you could do? And the cool thing about having a coach is he's like, oh, for you, the one thing that you could do is, literally, we did this the other day. He's like, move this hand and turn it and put it here on the club. And all of a sudden, everything else in the swing was better. By moving one hand like a half of an inch, everything else got better. It was awesome, right? Like I didn't have to think about a million different things. I just needed to put my hand in a different place in the club. This is the reason why I recommend coaches so much, is sometimes coaches are much more adept at identifying that one thing. For me, for my diet, I've talked about a lot on this channel that my Achilles heel is drive-throughs, especially for breakfast. I get up early every morning and take my dogs to the dog park. I drive right past Dunkin' Donuts and McDonald's, two of my favorite restaurants in the whole world. Yes, I run I run two fitness YouTube channels, and McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts are two of my favorite restaurants in the world because I'm just a normal dude. But for me, not going through those places every morning for breakfast for my nutrition was the one thing that I could do. My coach didn't ask me to do anything else, right? Like he's like, just get down to 4,000 calories a day. And the way that I did that was I just stopped going through those drive-throughs in the morning and boom, I was at 4,000 calories a day. Now, am I staying there? No, we're going to go further. But at that particular moment, what's the one thing that I could do for my nutrition that would make everything else either easier or unnecessary? Unnecessary, didn't need to count calories, didn't need to make special meals, didn't need to look at fat carb mixes, didn't need to do anything stupid, didn't need to do anything fancy. I just needed to do that one thing that made everything else easier or unnecessary in nutrition for me. Which, now, does that mean that's the only thing I'm doing? No, I'm doing other things. I'm meal prepping and I'm looking at portion control. I'm doing some other things, but that one thing is the deal. So as you look at your fitness journey, as you look at getting in shape, as you look at losing weight, whatever you're here for, Ask yourself, what's the one thing that by doing it makes everything else easier or unnecessary?